So in a world where everybody on social media is talking about their wins, today I'm going to talk about my biggest losses. So we all know social media is the platform in which you share your highlight reel. It is very rare that most people share the bad things that are happening in their life. We want to show people success. We want to show people why they should listen to us. And we feel that if we share the negative or bad things that are happening in our lives, that will somehow discredit us and the things that we talk about online. And so while yes, I've had a lot of successful endeavors and things business-wise happen in my life, I've also had a lot of failures and I've lost a lot of money along the way. So today I just want to get real, open and honest with you guys and break down all of the ways in which I've lost a lot of money, either starting or trying to start a business or invest into a business. In life, you're going to fail, period. Throughout your creative journey, even after you've been successful, there's going to be things that you try or want to branch out and do, or maybe a new business you want to start. And it's likely that many of those things will not work. They will fail. It's been that way throughout my entire career journey as a filmmaker, entrepreneur. And so these things that I'm going to touch on in this video, these businesses, these investments, are all things that at the end of the day didn't really work out for me. First up, Industry Jump. Industry Jump was a kind of tech startup business that my friend and producer JJ was trying to get going and start, I think sometime back in around 2016, 2017. And it was basically kind of like Airbnb or ShareGrid, where it's like this peer-to-peer thing, right? And it was an app and a platform to try and help filmmakers hire or find and hire other filmmakers for certain jobs, etc. And early on, JJ, who, like I said, is a friend of mine and was producing a lot of my projects, told me about what he was trying to do, asked if I would be willing to invest. He pitched me the idea. I thought it was a clever idea, and I have a very entrepreneurial mindset, as you guys, if you followed me throughout the years, you've seen, and you'll probably see through some of the things I'm going to touch on in this video. And so, yeah, I personally invested, not a lot, but $10,000 of my own money into this app and platform. And I was there on a lot of the trips and meetings with other people. And yeah, ultimately it didn't work out. It kind of, failed really at the end of the day. And so, yeah, not only did I lose $10,000 of my own money, but a lot of time as well. The time spent, working on trying to build this thing and get it off the ground. Number two is Airrestock. This was an idea that we had shortly after Tropicolor really started to gain momentum and some steam, and we had been running that for about 2 years. And then we had this idea of like, hey, there's not really a platform dedicated to quality aerial stock that provides that aerial stock footage at an affordable price. Everything was just like, for a 10-second clip of a waterfall in Hawaii would be $500-$600. And so we thought it would be cool to curate a website dedicated to specifically aerial stock footage, Airreal stock, and do it at an affordable price point so that filmmakers coming up could access those clips affordably. Because I remember early on in my career, did a music video for OCD Motion Twist. We needed a New York City skyline shot, and at the time there was really only like these stock footage sites that you could go to. These clips of like a New York City skyline, LA, whatever, were $600. And I remember spending like $550 for one shot that was like the opening title shot of that music video. And so that's kind of where the idea stemmed from. And, we tried starting to build it out, and, we quickly realized it was a lot more work than we anticipated. And it was right around this time that Tropic was doing really well, and we actually had just started, or were starting to think about prism lens effects. And, we took a few trips where we were, trying to shoot some stock footage of our own, and then we're outsourcing and gathering clips from drone videographers and cinematographers from around the world. And ultimately, yeah, we just kind of put a pause on that, and it just decided to put our attention and focus elsewhere and realize like this was going to be a very huge endeavor, and we didn't really have a true passion for like drone footage and like aerial stock footage. And I think that's something that like the through line in any of my endeavors or businesses that have worked in the past is the things that have worked, I've been truly passionate about. And the things that have kind of faltered, failed, or fallen flat have not been things that I'm truly passionate about. There might be a vertical integration that tie into what I'm doing, just like I'm a filmmaker and like, hey, we use aerial stock, but like I don't own a drone, I'm not a drone operator, I don't have any desire to fly one. And so like that whole, while I think the idea is still good and was good, it just, at the time wasn't the right fit, and just, you know, the cost started to get away from us a little bit, and we realized we needed to recenter and focus our attention. And so ultimately we just kind of killed that one. So in total, probably lost around $15,000 of the money we had invested in trying to get that thing going. Not too much in the grand scheme of things, but yeah, more importantly, probably the time lost, because we spent a lot of time working on that and trying to build that out for quite a few months. Next up is Maps, or a Map.2. Now this is an interesting one because it was actually built and started by one of my friends who basically came to me and was just like, hey, I want you to be a part of this, not only in the marketing side, but just like creative ideas for it and to help me build it. He had already pretty much had the infrastructure for it down. There were still some things that needed to be worked out, and so he approached me about the idea, and it was basically like a more customizable link in bio that also doubled as like a mini website. So if you didn't have a website, this could be your website, and it was a way to link things visually instead of like Linktree. Linktree at the time was very just like, hey, here's a link with some text, and this was more of a very visual based thing, and I really liked it, and I saw the potential in it. And so I invested $25,000 of my own money, and ultimately I just don't think there was the right leadership in place with him, and he had never really built anything from the ground up before. And I think, you know, it really, once we got going, it wasn't making money right away, and he ran into some personal issues in his life, and it just kind of fizzled out and went away. So I don't know if it's currently still up and running or being run, but I at one point kind of ejected myself from that, and I just had to walk away from that. So yeah, I lost about $25,000. No, not lost about. I lost $25,000 of my own personal money that I invested into that business, as well, again, as just a bunch of time. Next is Buff Beans. This one's kind of a funny one. At one point, Tom and I obviously love coffee. We drink coffee every day, and we had this idea like, you know, Buff Beans. It was just kind of like on a random, like, I don't even know how we came up with the idea, but it was like fuel for creative gains. Buff Beans, and play on my old production, not old production company, but old YouTube channel, Buff Nerds, and my production company, Buff Nerds Media. And I was like, oh, we could do a coffee. And I had a friend that did a lot of, that like ran a, what's it called? Like a coffee, not a coffee shop, but white labeling for coffee, and they'd source the beans and you'd work with them on co-packing and whatnot. And so we're like, decided we'd give that a try. And we spent a lot of time coming up, building the website, getting the product, sourcing it, going through iterations of what flavors and different things and all this stuff. And ultimately, it's kind of how it ended up kind of dying and getting killed off was we also had a coffee flavored CBD to go along with it. And I don't know how it happened, but the PayPal that was connected to the site where we were selling the CBD and the coffee was linked to our Prism lens effects business somehow, and it got flagged, and it was like, hey, we're going to delete your PayPal account. And we got really freaked out because we're like, we can't have our Prism PayPal be deleted and mess with what we got going on over there. So we like killed the site, and we're like, all right, we'll figure this out and get this back up and running at some point. And then we just never did. So yeah, we didn't invest too much into that, maybe $10,000, $5,000 to $10,000, somewhere in there. And I still have a huge bucket of unopened coffee bags. I don't know if coffee beans go bad, but maybe I could just like start handing them out in orders, or to you guys, do some giveaway or something. But I'd have to look I'm not sure if coffee beans go bad or not. Anyways, besides the point, lost around $5,000 to $10,000 on that, plus again, just time. Next is our bubblegum studio. This was kind of like the one studio that did not work, and for good reason. Basically, after a bunch of the film studios from Honeymoon Inn, Eclectic, Barracks were all up and running, firing on all cylinders and doing really, really well, generating anywhere from like $20,000 to $40,000 a month in revenue. We're like, let's do another one. My buddy wanted to get involved and do kind of this like loft space that was like really cheap and easy to get into. And the mistake we made was, as three guys trying to create a girly space, and we didn't give it the right time and energy, but also like, again, like, you should always work on and do what you know and what you're passionate about. And like three guys trying to craft a girly studio space was just not a good idea. And so ultimately it didn't really lose money. It kind of made itself, it was just like churning and burning basically. So we didn't lose money every month. We made enough money to pay the bills, but we weren't making anything. And then we obviously put around 10 to 15,000 into building it out. So we lost all that. Luckily, it was only a 1-year lease. And obviously towards the end of that year lease, we're just like, yeah, we're not gonna continue doing this. This isn't working. And we just kind of cut our ties with that one. And lastly, my house in LA. This is probably the biggest loss out of all of them, for a couple of reasons. And this one kind of like kills and hurts my ego to talk about and say, but you know, obviously with the success of all the studios over the years, you know, I just thought going into whatever location I want to do next, it would be automatically successful. And I bought this house in LA to, one, yes, have a house in LA, so I have a place to rest my head. My family has a place to stay. That we have a home in LA that we can live in when we're there. But we also bought it with the intention that we would rent it out to film and photo shoots, dress it up, just like how we did our very first film studio, Honeymoon Inn. And, you know, we spent a lot of time and money buying this, you know, very expensive house, very expensive furniture, dressing it all up. And it just hasn't really done well. I mean, we've had some big bookings, we've had some big commercials like Welch's Grape Juice and some big music videos and like companies and brands like what's called Synergy Kombucha and different things like that. But ultimately there hasn't been enough bookings to really kind of pay the bills there. And while yes, it is a place that I have when I go back to LA, the idea for having the house and turning it into a film studio was hopefully that the bookings would be enough to pay the mortgage. So basically had a place for free in LA to lay my head when I was there and for our family to have when we were there. And it just really hasn't worked out. It's been, you know, a little disappointing. I think there's a number of reasons why that is the case, which I won't get into. Maybe that'll be for a later video, but I'm gonna be fully transparent, honest. Like this is probably gonna be like $150,000 plus loss on this one. But you live and you learn. And at this point in my life right now, like I know the things that I need to be focusing on and the businesses I need to be focusing on. And I think that was I overextended and was trying to do too much with that house and that property. And just thought, you know, oh, because I have all these other successful studios that this one will be the same. And it just wasn't the case. So I say this to say like, and there might be some more losses and things along the way. Those are just like, as I'm sitting here thinking, the ones that kind of came to the top of my mind right away as the biggest kind of losses and failures that I've had in terms of investments and trying to get like new businesses started. But you're gonna fail, man. You're gonna lose, you're gonna fail, but ultimately you gotta keep trying. And for example, Prism Lens Effects is a beautiful example of like, had we never tried that, it wouldn't be what it is today. And that's been one of the most life-changing businesses for me and endeavors that, you know, has ever happened. And so, and like many other of the successful things that I've had from production company and my old YouTube channel to Tropic Color to our film studios. Had I not tried all of those things, we wouldn't have those businesses, and I wouldn't have the life that I have now. And so I guess I say all this to say, like, man, just keep trying. Like, you're gonna lose, don't let it get you down. Keep on pushing, learn from your mistakes, learn from your failures, take something from that, you know, loss that you can apply to your next business or investment, and learn and grow. So right now my focus in 2025 is to just cultivate the things that are working. You know, I'm at a point in my life, I've got twins now, young kids, 2 years old, family, a house, businesses that need my attention and that I want to give my attention to. And so rather than trying to like start and build all these new things, I just want to cultivate those things and put energy and focus into those things. So that's my focus right now. And yeah, I think 2025 is going to be the year of just like taking it easy and not rushing things, and putting time, energy, and dedication into the things that are currently working right now in my life. Hopefully this video helped in some way. It was insightful. If you found value in it, please consider subscribing, drop a like, comment. If you have any questions about anything, drop a comment. I'm doing my best to respond to as many comments and questions as possible. So yeah, that's it. I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.